Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. So I thought in this video what I would do is I'd just go through the LR Goku Prime Battle EZA and just go through the units and in general what you need. So the event will be on the 24th of December. So you've got about a month to prepare, and these are the 6 units. You need the Tech Android 13, the Raditz, the Zamasu Goku LR, the Cooler and the Freezer, and you need the Lord Slug. We'll start with the LR Zamasu because he's the longest grind, and then we'll go to Android 13 and we'll head from there. I'm not really going to review the units in this video. I will mainly just be going through how to get the units and process them and everything from there. So the reason this unit is such a long grind is because he's an LR, he's a free to play LR, and he's also got a LR EZA. So you're going to need 90 of those medals, 150 of these medals, and you're going to need 29 copies of the unit, which is obviously quite a lot of farming to do. And the reason you're going to need 29 copies is because you need 10 copies to get the first unit and it's SA10. You need 4 copies for its hidden potential. You need another 10 units that you're going to SA10 another unit and raise that to LR so that you can get the LR to SA20. And you're going to need to do that all over again because you need to get the EZA LR all the way to 25. So basically you're going to be doing the LR Awakening 3 times for a unit at 10 SA with 4 dupes, 10 SA and 5 SA, which is quite a lot of work to do, obviously, but it is well worth it. He's a great free to play option. He's usable in a lot of events, and especially since you're going to be needing him for this amazing LR Prime Battle Goku EZA. So we'll just go to the event. It's down here. It's basically the LR, it's the Zero Mortals plan. Yeah, there we go. Obviously I can't go through the missions or anything. I did this quite a while back. It came out with the anniversary, but yeah, so you get the unit from stage 2, you get the medals you need 90 of from stage 3, and you get the medals you need 150 of from stage 6. Time Travelers category units will be a boost for this event, so I definitely suggest loading up a Time Travelers unit team and assessing your options from there. The unit itself is pretty usable, and the events aren't hard or anything like that, so just proceed, farm all you need, farm the 29 copies, farm everything and awaken everything, and don't feed the 5 SA copy yet or the 10 SA copy even, because you may need them for the EZA area. The EZA area is mandatory character is the LR Zamasu, and then it's Time Travelers units. So the problem with this category is basically it's probably the biggest EZA area category, but you don't have a lot of free-to-play options. You only really have the free-to-play Vegeta Blue, and you have the lower version of LR Zamasu. So it is difficult to do this stage with just that, but you have the wish tickets, which are good for the 2 EZA Gallic gun family units and the Int Mai. So you should hopefully have at least those 3 units and be able to put together a decent team. The next unit we'll talk about is Android 13. His grind is pretty intense. He has to be bought with treasure, which is obviously not really the greatest of things to do. You can buy 5 copies of treasure, which is 100 treasure each, but you're going to need to farm more copies, which you can do from stage 14.8. That's going to be where you mainly farm them from. You have to do it on normal and hard difficulty, which can be a little bit of a grind, especially since it's not like guaranteed drops or anything like that. So you're definitely going to want to kind of go from there. Then the next thing is you're going to need is medals, which also drop from the story events. You'll see them pop up on the right hand side of the screen, kind of like a quick view of all the medals. You're going to need 20 of them, and since you have to awaken copies 3 copies quite a few times, because you have to awaken all 5 copies so that you can hidden potential them, you're going to need at least 100 of these medals. of each type, and then you're going to also need at least to farm them once more so that you can obviously do the SA 10 to 15. Otherwise you can just use Kai's, but I wouldn't suggest. If you can always farm SA, then farm it if possible. You'll see where the medals come from on the right hand side. So that's at least nice. They're kind of all summarized and everything. I pulled that from the Dokkan Wiki website, so it's very helpful in terms of at least farming your medals and going from there. The unit himself, he will EZA from the Ginyu Force EZA event, which we'll go to. So in terms of that, we'll get there now, but he awakens with battlefield memories. These battlefield memory medals can be bought with obviously the ultimate challenge currency. I think they're 3,000 per pair and they're unlimited from there. But you can also actually buy them with the treasure. I can't buy anymore because they are of limited stock in the treasure store. But you can buy them with treasure. So if you're flush on treasure, you don't want to use your battlefield memories because you need them for other units, then I definitely suggest using the treasure to get them, because it's definitely worth your time. So yeah, he awakens from the extreme, the EZA battle for the battlefield units. There's quite a few units that awaken from this. He's one of like, I think 7 units that awaken from here. So he's definitely part of like a much easier EZA. I want to say this Extreme Z battle is probably like the 3rd easiest one. You just need the Ginyu Force units. The problem with the Ginyu Force units is it's another free-to-play grind. So as a new player or as a player who's never been bothered with grinding, this is going to require you to do the Ginyu Force grind before you can even do the EZB battle that allows you to complete your Android 13 grind. This LR Ginyu that we'll use in your team, he comes from Battlefield. You don't necessarily need him, but he does help. And then the other one is bought with, well actually he comes from just completing all the copies of the original Ginyu Force members from their free-to-play events on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday. The next unit is Raditz. Raditz is probably the beginning of the easier units, I want to say. He just comes from the one storyline mission, so he's pretty easy, pretty straightforward to do. His event is also, again, pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. And this Raditz pretty good for World Tournament, so you should probably have him already. If you don't, this is how you farm him. So you just go to the low-cost warrior Raditz Proud. He drops from stage 2, and you get his medals from stage 4. You're going to need the standard 19 copies of him for any EZA unit. Obviously 10 for his max SA, 4 for the hidden potential system, and then 5 for the secondary unit that you'll use to raise him from 10 to 15. And yeah, that's pretty much straightforward. His EZA area is probably the most limited one, I would say, in terms of character categories. You need him and the Nappa, and you need the LR Prime Battle Krillin. So that's three free-to-play units, and then you get obviously the Halloween/April Fool's units, the Pixel Goku and Pixel Vegeta. The problem with those 2 units is if you obviously don't have them, you have to go into the Portal of Memories to farm them. Otherwise, the rest of the units are pretty limited. There are a couple World Tournament LRs, there are a couple LRs, and then there are a couple like celebratory units, celebration units. Luckily, the Tech Goku and the Sai Vegeta are pretty common drops, and you should have at least some of them. But yeah, it's a tough event from a limited usage point of view. It's basically only the characters up to the Saiyan Saga, and a lot of it's the Saiyan characters up to then, which means it's really only like 4 characters who've only had like 1 card each, so it's quite limited in terms of that moment. To get the Nappa, you have to do a second event, this one, the Saiyan Warrior Race. It's basically the Saiyan Saga, and he drops from stage 7. So that Nappa, I pretty much just got a copy of him and literally just awakened the copy. I didn't SA10 him or put orbs in or anything, and I managed to get through the event, but you may have to invest into him. This EZA area, 1 stage, 2 difficulties, unlike the Master one, which only had 1 difficulty. You get a stone from each, which is nice, and then similar to every EZA area, the left hand side will be your bronze and your gold medals, and the right hand side will be your silver and your rainbow medals. So the next units we'll be looking at are the cooler and the freezer. So the cooler is the easiest one. You can literally just get him from the treasure store. You can buy 6 copies from here, so it's going to cost you 1,800 gems in total. You're going to need 1 copy that you SA10. You're going to need the 4 copies you use for the hidden potential system, and then you're going to need the other copy obviously to SA5 and then add to his EZA later. So that's 1,800 gems. It's quite a bit. If you don't want to SA15 the card, you don't have to. You don't need to max SA15 any of these cards. It just obviously would help, and they're all free to play, so there's no reason really not to, unless you're super low on treasure or anything like that and you need to make the sacrifice. Yeah, so in terms of this card, there's really only 2 events you need to know of. So the one is the strongest event, the strongest rivals. From stage 5 you see the cooler drop. That's going to be free SA for this cooler, which is really what you want. You can choose to awaken them if you've got a flurry of medals and training items, but yeah, otherwise I would really just use them as 50% chances and go from there. And then obviously the second event you're going to need to run is to awaken the cooler, and fortunately that is a Dokkan event. You need 35 medals. It's the cooler Dokkan event, which is the ultimate transformation, and yeah, you just need to basically run it 5 times. You will need to awaken the secondary copy if you are SA15ing him, so that will be 70 medals in total. Next is the freezer. He comes from his own Dokkan event. So the interesting thing about freezer is you're going to need again the 19 copies, because he can SA himself, which is very nice, and you're going to need quite a few medals. So you're going to need 28 medals in total. You'll get the same medal every time, so it's really nothing that's too crazy to get or anything weird that you need to get. It's just 28 of this Emperor's medals that you'll need. So if you want to, you can pre-farm the 28 medals that you'll need, and you can farm the 19 copies, and then you can surely figure it out from there on what you need to do. But basically, yeah, you're going to SA10 one unit, SA5 another unit, and you're going to awaken all those 2 units plus the other 4 you need for the hidden potential. You're going to awaken them, and then you're going to hidden potential them, and then awaken them once more. So yeah, they drop from stage 1, the unit, on Z hard difficulty, and then the medals drop on the second stage on Z hard difficulty. The stage is not difficult at all. Like you can probably like 3-turn it. I mean, you literally can with any decent team. The only problem with the stage is it basically only drops between 1 to 4 medals, I want to say, because I've never seen it really drop higher, which is, you know, makes the ground not great. I mean, whenever you're dealing with infrequent numbers and 1 to 4 medals, I mean, yeah, you could be looking at, like, I would say at minimum 7 or 8 runs of this event, which is not great because it's not that fun. It doesn't really drop that great of rewards. Then the EZA area, for both of them, we'll do it at the same time. So this is pretty straightforward. You need both units, and then your selection is very, very limited, but luckily most of them are free to play. So obviously you have the 2 cards themselves, you have 2 battlefield units there in Metal Cooler and the Strength Metal Freezer and King Cold, and you have the Prime Battle Strength Freezer as well, who also you can obviously do as a free to play unit. So that's 5 free to play options for 6 slots where you need, you know, 1 other unit that you've managed to summon. So hopefully that shouldn't be too bad. You can get the Agility Golden Freezer with Wish Strips as well. So it's really straightforward. Here you can see the Metal Cooler and the Metal Freezer in King Cold. I only have 1 dupe of each of them, so you don't need to go out and rainbow both of them just to get the event done. You can just get your 1 dupe that you need, fill up the slots. I mean, I suggest getting them anyway eventually. They're pretty good for whatever team you put them on, especially with the link update and all of that. And yeah, and then obviously you can do the Prime Battle Freezer, which is again also quite a long grind. So for some of these units you kind of have to grind just to grind. So if you haven't been doing these over time and you're going to want to get all of these done in a month, it is going to be very difficult, but it is doable, especially if you follow this video. Like I say, I would definitely start with the LR Zamasu. I would then go from there, and I would run with the Android Tech 13 and go from there. The final event that we are going to look at is, I'm just going to do a brief overview of it because I actually have another entire video on their EZA area and everything. It's just the Lord Slug. He comes from this Lord Slug event, which you'll see in my other video. I kind of go through the whole process there. But yeah, he comes from this Lord Slug event. He awakens with the EZA area there, and yeah, I mean, I show how to do it, I show everything else in the other video, so really there's no point in me repeating myself here. But basically it's pretty straightforward grind, pretty easy. Lord Slug is also a decent unit. I use him in my Extreme Tech SBR video that I will be releasing as well at a later stage. So yeah, basically he's just a good option. So yeah, in general, this is how you go through all the units. You need all of these with rainbow potential just to be able to take on the event. And yeah, you're also going to need the Kaioken Goku for a future one. So definitely invest in them, take the time, do them. They're all well worth it. I use them all in a couple runs. I'll even show you those runs at a later stage, and I'll probably do a video on each of them separately over the next month, just so you can kind of see what they're good for and what they're usable for, you know, just all Dokkan content, so that you can maximize the most out of this kind of grind that you're doing. I think it's definitely well worth it. And yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers and bye.